Well, DmC came out. If you saw my demo impressions, you know I wasn't really looking forward to this game. Did that mean I wasn't going to play the full game, though? Of course not. So, originally, this was going to be a written review with a playthrough reaction video on the side. But based on the people that watched the video of my demo playthrough that didn't bother to read my fleshed out thoughts, I figured I'd try something a little different. So, after going through the entire game, I have to say, it was alright. It's not that bad, but it's not that great either. I don't see how this game could possibly be worth an 8 or 9 out of 10. And it really makes me question the entire review community. It's like reviewers decided to support it solely because they see it as a victim to fan attacks. Now remember, I'm not saying it's a bad game. My issue is that there are so many problems with this game that seem to get overlooked, shrugged off, or even praised. Personally, I'd say it's a 6.5 out of 10. It's not terrible, but it's far from greatness. This isn't based on comparing it to the previous Devil May Cry games or any of that not my Dante crap. No, this is from basing the game on its own merits. So, what makes DmC such a mediocre game? Well, let's start dissecting things, starting with its core, the gameplay. This game is way too easy. I played through it on hard just to see if I could get some sort of challenge. The enemies will just stand around most of the time, watching you beat the crap out of their friends before they finally do anything.
Hey there, guy. We want to fight too. I guess I can wait. I'll wait.
And if an enemy is off screen, or you're fighting enemies on the other side of a room, they don't even seem to bother attacking. There's no sense of urgency in this game, especially when it comes to doing combos. And again, why should you even care about combos? They're almost pointless when there's no walk-on mechanic to keep the flow going. Look at this shit! Seriously! It's almost impossible to prioritize enemies simply because you can't zero in on anyone. Oh, you want to shoot that one flying guy ruining your flow? Well, you better stop what you're doing, move within its vicinity, and hope that Dante decides, oh, it's important enough to shoot or latch onto. Which brings me to the whole grappling thing. While it is cool in theory, in execution, it just makes everything easier. Why move around when you can pull everyone to you or vice versa? You could just make an aerial combo last an eternity without worrying about attack, then yank up the next victim for the slaughter. Perhaps this mechanic would work better if fewer enemies were affected by it. Or if they at least blocked it half the time. There's literally only one enemy that willingly blocks grapples in this game. And once you figure out his pattern, he's just as easy as everyone else. You shoot at him, use the demon grapple during the block to break his block, and then you demon grapple again to pull him over to you, and then you attack him, and then you repeat that. That's it. There you go. There you have it. The only slightly difficult enemy in the game. Fucking easy. But the game's not done just handing you victory yet. Oh no. We have ourselves a wonderful weapon called the Aquila. Enemies getting on your nerves? Sick of that witch putting shields around everyone? Well, just throw a bunch of blue shuriken in their faces and they're helpless. I suppose you could say this is the game's way of allowing you to prioritize enemies. But other games have shown it's possible to prioritize without having to disable everyone else. You know, it's called a lock-on mechanic! There's only 2 or 3 enemies in the entire game that aren't affected by this weapon. And even then, those are the enemies that you'd focus on, so you just throw it at everyone else, and then you go after them. And the other thing that gets me is how he fucking gets this weapon. What was the thought process behind this thing?
We want to introduce the new projectile weapon to the players.
Okay, how are we gonna do this?
He kills the reporter guy and then he gets the giant shuriken.
Fucking genius! And now we come to the coup de grace of easy mode, the Devil Trigger. Never in a million years! In the past, Devil Trigger was more of a power-up that helped you to regenerate some health for a limited amount of time. Enemies would still attack, so you could still lose health. Now, every enemy is launched up in the air, floating around waiting for your punishment, while you regain health. But don't worry, no, it's not that easy. easy. No, since there's no lock-on mechanic, it's likely that 2 out of 3 times the enemy you wanted to grapple to won't be the one you get. Oh, you want to get rid of that one fucker?
Oh, sorry. Oh, I guess I'm gonna get this guy over here instead. Okay.
The game gives you so many ways to make everything so ridiculously easy. I honestly feel insulted when the game starts giving me S rankings like they're fucking candy. Really? I got an S ranking for style in that level? Because I don't feel like I earned that ranking at all. Ninja Theory said they wanted to make this game more open to people who don't like the difficulty of the Devil May Cry series, but still keep it open for wild combos for veterans. But all this game does is give you a patronizing pat on the head for using more than one weapon to kill an enemy.
Oh, nice job, Billy. You remembered that there's an axe weapon as well.
Now, with all the easy mode mechanics I've mentioned, I haven't even gotten to the crap with the Demon Evade, which powers you up when successful. Though, that's really because I never bought the upgrade myself. I never use it the entire time I played the game. The reason why is because I find using the right trigger and the right bumper at the same time so uncomfortable. I didn't even bother. It was just like, no, what? You want me to press those 2 buttons at the same time? Fuck that. Fuck that. Based on the combat videos I've seen, if I had used that, the game would have been easier than it already was. As for the combat itself, I'll admit, I really warmed up to it. I mean, it's much more fluid than the demo, and I started to warm up to the idea of using the D-pad to switch between weapons almost on the fly to add variety to combos. There's still a little lag between switching weapons, but overall, it's cool. It's just too bad that the game didn't give me any challenging enemies to try the combos on. And it would have also been nice if the angelic weapons actually did some damage. I mean, pull out any angel weapon, and it seems like I'm doing nothing, and I have to switch to something else to actually finish off an enemy. I'm not saying that the angelic weapons can't kill enemies, but it takes so much longer than if I would have just bust out fucking Hellboy hands and use that. Shit's awesome. It's like I'm really Ron Perlman. What's the point of using angelic weapons other than Aquila to just keep enemies away? I mean, this shit's just dumb. There's no reason to use the angelic weapons. I mean, why are they even there? Anyway, where was I? Oh, that's right. I almost forgot. This game is platforming too. But honestly, could you really even call it that? All you do is grapple from fight A to fight B. It feels less like an extra layer to the levels and more like padding. If they at least created some variety or made it so you had to time jumps and whatnot, then maybe it could have been something more. Instead, you just continually pull out a platform, jump onto it, pull out the next one, then grapple to climb over a ledge, or grapple to go across a long gap, grapple and jump to the next one, grapple the edge, grapple and grapple another ledge, and then grapple and jump to the next again, grapple, and then you have to grapple over yourself that grapple, and then you grapple yourself in the air, the gaps, and they've even dedicated entire portions of the game to this. I mean, they have you go through the fucking Doctor Who portal. And they teach you how to do some new grapple, and then you break some dude's chain, and he's like, "Why'd you break my chain?" I don't know. Why is there so much platforming in my head? I guess they were trying to mix it up by copying Sonic Adventure's wall panels, but they don't show up nearly enough to make any difference. Seriously, I think they only used these twice in the entire game. So yeah, the gameplay is okay, but I never once felt like I was being challenged. So does that mean I played through this whole game, Super Elite Pro, never got hurt, and I never died? No, but those instances were all due to my own fault rather than the game actually challenging me. I never once died on a single boss fight. None of them. How messed up is that? Let me clarify. I'm not some Devil May Cry MLG Pro player or anything like that. I get my ass kicked in the Devil May Cry games. Godhand makes me its bitch. DmC is just ridiculously easy. So yeah, I can't really think of much more to say about the gameplay other than what's already been said. So now, I think it's time for us to move on to the rest of the game.